Shock survey reveals local authorities are among the most exposed to cyber theft. Value of global black market and stolen identities peaks to $53 billion. And how you can tackle cybercrime in the workplace, all that and much more on the Dubai Municipality Information Security Program. Welcome to the program. If you think that cybercrime is not an immediate threat, then you're dead wrong. Take a look at these numbers. Globally, there are 10 million identity thefts every year, 27,000 a day and 19 each minute. The global black market and stolen data already costs businesses more than $53 billion each year. Last year, the details of 40 million credit and debit cards were stolen in one of the biggest scams in the United States. If that doesn't worry you, a U.S. official is offering a $50,000 award after his laptop was stolen from his office. The PC contained personal details on a staggering 2.2 million military personnel. You wouldn't want your details on that PC, would you? Closer to home, a gang of thieves stole around $500,000 from ATM machines across Dubai, using more than 100 fake credit cards. When police caught up with them, they were also carrying 9 forged checkbooks and 5 labor cards. Although the gang now has been sentenced for their crime, cyber crooks continue to find new and sophisticated ways to gather illicit information. The moral behind these stories is that information is an asset that can cost your company and your department millions of dollars in losses if not fully protected. The information you deal with must be protected, confidential, and accurate. To elaborate, confidentiality. Ensure that information is accessible to authorized persons only. Make sure that all information you handle is accurate and complete. Take a look at this chart. It shows the colossal rise in the number of information security threats. See how the numbers more than double between 2007 and the following year? But with a little extra care and planning, you can help combat cybercrime while protecting your company's greatest assets. Like your home, car, and money, information is also an asset. Protect it, and it will protect you. And we'll be showing you how this can be achieved later on the program. We'll now give a clearer definition of information security. Today, Dubai Municipality is one of the world's leading examples in making the most of e-government systems. This means that essentially the authority depends on making decisions based on accurate and readily available information. So how do you decide if information is wrong or insecure? What happens if parts are missing or confidential reports are disclosed? You may want to grab your pen and paper at this stage, as the security of your department could depend on the points you're about to hear. And we're not just talking about digital information. Reports you deal with are often exchanged through the spoken word, by film, DVD, CD, or print. It can be stored, shared, still be in process, or in transit. Remember, information is an asset. Protect it, and it'll protect you. Remember that last typhoon in Oman? The floods not only destroyed dozens of homes, but also wiped out and flooded government data center. This rendered it unoperational and delayed efforts in returning to normal life. If these systems have been stored in a flood-proof building, the destruction might never have happened. Sobering thought, eh? So what are the other threats? They are any natural disaster as well as mismanagement, IT failure, and human error. Talking of IT failures, how many times have you lost information because you didn't press the save button before the system crashed? IT failures invariably happen, so make sure you have a backup plan. And lastly, human errors are often the cause of many a security threat. See the pie chart on the left? It shows theft and loss amounting to almost half of all security breaches. Now look at the diagram on the right. This illustrates how breaches can lead to around 2/3 of all exposures of information. Hacking comes in at second place at 22%. The easiest way of breaching security is by sending confidential information that's accessible to unauthorized persons. The danger of this is that there are hackers who deliberately set out to rob the personal details of individuals for their own gain from unsecured data. This happened at a world-class university when 10,000 students had their personal details, including social security numbers, stolen through exposure. Incidents such as these can lead to identity fraud and theft, which we'll talk more about later in the program. Looking at the different sectors, here we see that the government organizations are among the most at risk to security breaches and exposures. Coming up, we'll be looking at how Dubai municipality is fighting back by attaining a world-class standard in information security. Next, we'll show how you, as an individual, can make a difference to the security of your company's assets. A survey among staff showed that systems installed to support information security is good, but could be better. The online questionnaire revealed several weaknesses in the current system. It highlighted the need for managers to take a more proactive role in setting a good example to their team. Staff also called for more readily available guidance on information security. In the survey, respondents were asked to describe the attributes they thought made a good manager. Here's what they said. You need to care for information security. Keep your desk and screen clear. Keep filing cabinets locked and keys and passwords secret. Never disclose confidential information, whether in the written or spoken word. Respondents called for greater availability of material on sound practice from their managers. Welcome back. Remember our motto? Protect information and it will protect you. Now, we'll take a closer look at the 8 golden principles of information security. But first, here's a warning story. A confidential report left on a printer at an intelligence agency was once picked up by the cleaner, then faxed to a national newspaper. You wouldn't want to be the person who left that piece of paper lying around, would you? Remember, information security is all our responsibility. So, store away these confidential reports. Don't leave USB sticks and laptop unattended. And remember to lock cabinets and doors when you leave the office. It can take a matter of minutes for someone to glean information from your laptop using a USB stick. If you suspect information has been lost and come across a computer virus, don't hesitate to call your IT help desk. Your email address to the IT service is itd_servicedesk@dm.gov.ae or call 04-206 4499 is the telephone number to help desk. How many of you are fully aware of the Dubai municipality information security policies? Don't worry if you don't, because by the end of this awareness program, you'll have a clearer idea of how to better protect information. Remember, these measures are mandatory, not discretionary, as they're vital to the safety and security of the information in your department. Now take note, as after the program, you'll be tested on many of the principles discussed. Here's an amusing story. Motorists returned to their unlocked cars to find mobile phones and laptops left on seats had gone missing. They had in fact been taken by police in a move to shock people into taking more care over personal possessions. Jokes aside, we should never leave our laptops and mobiles unattended. Laptops should be locked by cable and mobiles opened with a boot password pin, and sensitive data must be encrypted. Remember the story about the top secret file left on the printer? Your documents are for your eyes only, so don't go leaving them around. Personal information can be highly tempting for others to leaf through. Thumb rule is, if it's not being used, file securely away. They can cross continents in minutes and make a nightmare of our daily lives. And no, I'm not talking about swine flu, but computer viruses. In 2004, the MyDoom computer virus infected 100 emails in the first 36 hours and stalled computer systems across the world. Scary thought, eh? So how are these spread? Opening unknown emails is the easiest way to spread an electronic virus. Be sure of the sender before you open. If it looks suspicious, delete it right away. We've talked about a great deal about legitimate information, but what about the bogus stuff, the scams and spams? Have you heard of phishing? I don't mean the outdoor sport of angling. To illustrate just how phishing works, take a look at this. Now take a close look at these two addresses. See that the second one has the number 1 instead of the letter I after M. Cyber crooks often use emails to try to gain personal information, usually your bank account details and business dealings. They do this by sending you a link to a bogus website that might look like the real thing, but on closer inspection is not quite right. The crime is known as phishing. The most common scam is an email from an investor in Nigeria asking you to join him as a partner in some get-rich-quick scheme. Wise up to their tactics and don't become a victim. The most famous one is the 419, otherwise known as the Nigerian letter. This aims to persuade you to advance sums of money in the hope of realizing a significantly larger gain in the region of millions of dollars. These emails are still being sent even today, so don't fall for it. Just take a look at these fake websites. One claims to be from MasterCard and the other PayPal. They ask for your account details. If you're not quite sure of the authenticity of the site, check with your IT help desk right away. Get the idea? Remember in 2008 when bank customers here in the UAE were asked to change their PIN number following a spate of fraudulent credit card transactions? Needless to say, it's always a good idea to regularly change your password and PIN numbers. Speaking of which, do you know the strength of your password? Do you know what can make or break the value of a password? Listen carefully, as many of you are likely to have 12 or more different passwords to online accounts. Your password is your golden key to a treasure trove of information, so treat it with care. Here's how to test the strength of your password on the Microsoft website. It's no surprise that a PIN number such as 1234 and the password mohd1 is weak. So think creatively. So how do you create a good password? It should have a minimum of 8 characters and contain a capital letter, a small letter or number, and a special character such as a hash or exclamation mark. Perhaps use a name of old pet, your first car, or favorite holiday destination and spell it backwards. And lastly, never write down our password or share with anyone else, even to your superiors or IT desk, even if they ask for it. In times of conflict, it's often said that loose tongues costs lives. These are worthy lessons to be learned in both war and peace. With this in mind, be sure you know who's on the other end of the phone and receiving your emails. The thumb rule is be sure to know who you're giving information to and never discuss sensitive matter in public places. You never know who might be eavesdropping. We've said a great deal about digital information, but what about the other stuff? Pay attention to physical security by locking drawers, doors, and windows. Remember to wear your access badge at all times, and be sure to escort guests, and don't be afraid to approach unknown persons in your department. Remember these 8 golden principles and you'll stand a better chance of securing your information, which after all is your company's biggest asset. We hope that you've enjoyed the information security video. And what's more, we hope that the lessons you've learned today will make a difference to your life and the lives of those who you work with. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.